Case, I'm recording now. We need a big start. Do you not want me to sing the intro?
You can sing the intro. You can sing it if you want, right? But this is the thing: is I got this like professional intro done, right? And I thought, oh yeah, this would be really good. I'll get it done now. Like get an American to do it. Have a listen to this now, right? See what you think, because I really don't like this, but I've just gone with it.
It doesn't go bom bom be dom bom bom, because that should have been your intro. That should have been your intro.
I haven't got enough money to buy the rights for that one.
All right, here we go, Bom. I'm ready. Hello, he's got the coffee. He's ready for this.
Welcome to the Ask a Club Fitter podcast, answering your questions on all things golf equipment and club fitting. Here's your host, hoping to help you play better golf. He's a PGA professional, founder of Tour Fit Golf, and has worked with some of the world's best players. Tom Davies.
Hey, everyone.
Bom! Bom! Hang on a minute. Tom the Bomb Davies. But Tom, I know this is your show and that, but you've kicked it off on something already that I want to elaborate on. And I will get this out there because you're not going to say it because you're very humble. But you're one of the best fitters I've ever worked with when it comes to technical knowledge, without a shadow of a doubt. You are, Bom. And you would laugh at me and be like, nah, shut up. Come on, Trotty. You're just saying this because you're on record. But you are. And the point is you look at this whole social media world and you look at everyone who's out there. And I think there's a lot of stuff. Now, credit to them. They've done a great job. But there's a lot of stuff out there that's not very good. And there's a lot of people out there that fish for likes and do all that, and I don't see that down as being your style. I like to think it's not really mine, but I think it frustrates me. I don't know how you feel about it, but these people who have these, once you get all the people's eyes and they listen to you, you need to deliver good information. Otherwise, what you doing? Yeah,
it's quite an interesting topic, actually, I think. And you know, I see it all the time. You probably don't see it as much as I do, but like everybody that comes into my studio, like, oh, I've been looking at this on YouTube and I've been looking at that on YouTube. And to be fair, like some of the information that I've seen on there is fairly decent, but the interpretation, you know, for the end user, like it's up for debate, that is. And I think the job itself is probably very different to what like the listeners would be expecting. So like, you know, that task at the time of, you know, trying to stay number one driver on tour all across the world, like the journeys that I made to try and get like drivers in play in Fiji and Australia. And then, you know, you're down into China, you know, really hustling on the front line, you know, it's, it was tough as well. And as much as, you know, you work with some of these great players and you have some fantastic experiences, you know, the other side to it is, you know, you've actually got a job to do and you've got some information to deliver. And you know, you've got a task to do. And yeah, I used to quite enjoy that, just getting in the nitty gritty of it and down in South Africa or Australia and just trying to get clubs in play.
And people don't realize the caddies become important, the coaches become important, the team, you're working with a team of like-minded young guys. That becomes important. And I think, you know, we kicked on it and we laugh about it now, but the comment of Marmite at the start of this, like, you don't lose your rag. You don't get annoyed. And as I think people kind of figure out, I can be pretty like emotional. And then, you know, I'm going to pull a team up. And if I'm having a bad day, I'm going to rip them down too. And I think the boys know that. And like 6 o'clock in the morning, no matter what time zone, I'm always pretty fired up with a lot of questions, rocking and rolling. I'm a big morning guy. And I think I'm basically the only morning guy that's ever worked for the TaylorMade sports marketing team. So as time's gone on, I have to realize that no one else is. So early doors, someone comes through the door, that's me. I'm on it. Give me that guy. I'll deal with that. You know what I mean?
So just a question. I kind of know the answer to this, but I think a lot of the listeners would be very interested to hear how you got into being in the role that you're in now.
Yeah, it's a great story, and it involves McGinley again. And anyone who knows Paul McGinley, the Ryder Cup captain from 14, great guy. He's all about youngsters, isn't he? And bringing them through, and people in the shop at Sunningdale. He's always supporting them. He's actually a genuinely great guy. And I was working at the Belfry, which is Ryder Cup venue, Sevy's famous tent, where you whip one over the corners. 1,001 stories about that place too. But I was working there, and TaylorMade put the first £1 million green grass range out, and I know you know the story, so I'll fizz through it.
No, it's all right.
McKinley comes one day, and there's a guy called Tom Olofsky, who now is the head of product for Cobra Golf. Tio, you remember Tio? Good guy. And
Yep.
Tio ran product for TaylorMade back in like 500 series, 300 series days. And Tio's come to talk with McGinley's going to hit. Tio's going to talk 50 VIPs, 30 VIPs. Anyway, I take over the show, me being me, typical for think that I've got to do that. You know, I've got to impress these people. Paul McGinley's here. Da, 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 da. You know, you run around, take over the show. McGinley and I hit it off. McGinley goes, I don't know this bit, but goes back to TaylorMade and says, listen, you need a rep on tour. There's a guy at the Belfry you should see. A week later, fella comes in, my height, so short, Irish guy, lovely fella, with another Southerner, Robin Murray. Do you remember Robin Murray? Went on to run 90 Europe. Quick-witted Southerner, wasn't he? Which, me being a true Northern English guy at the time, was like, Jesus, who's this Southern guy? You know, real quick. You know what I like? Chops. I'm married to one now, so I mean, it is what it is. But anyway, Watty starts hitting balls, and he's got this Adidas TaylorMade MaxFly logo. So he's tri-branded. I'm like, that's weird. Fit him up for a 580 XD, 9.5 on 9, D3 swing weight, 45.5 USGA ruler. So old school, little bit shorter. Tall velvet, 58 round, Grapholoy red Pro Light, 35, 1-inch tip. And so he says to me, you fit me for my exact driver. And I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, here we go. I'm like, well, okay, well, you didn't say you turned up with that, blah, 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 you know. What else can I get you? Because I'm on like a % commission, and I'm earning like shit. I'm living off cereal. So I'm like, come on, mate. You know, what else do you need? Must need a 3-wood. No, I don't need a 3-wood. Jesus. What about, you know, some balls? He's like, well, you've had me hitting Titleist balls. And I'm like, okay, what about the MaxFly M3, blah, blah, blah. And he turns out, he goes to me, look, I've not come for a golf club. And I'm thinking, who is this joker? And he goes, I've come here to see you. And he says, I work for TaylorMade, Adidas, MaxFly. And I look at him and I went, I have got M3s to hit. I have got MaxFly M3s. I'm sorry, they're Titleists. I think I'm about to lose my job. So he goes, it's okay. Don't worry about the ball. And I'm thinking, okay, where's this cowboy going now? And he says to me, how do you fancy traveling the world? And I'm like, Jesus Christ. And the night before, I was single at the time. The night before, I'd just been out and I'd been chatting to this bird in the bar. She was gorgeous. And I'd got her number. So I was flying, you know, I was on cloud nine. I had this beautiful, it was Robert Rock's ex-wife's sister. And I was like, so I had Robert Rock's ex-wife's sister's phone number. Now this guy's offering me a job, basically. I'm like, I mean, what's happening now? Is flipping Pamela Anderson going to walk in next or something? I mean, we are flying. Anyway.
There you have it, bonus edition over, and that is just an extract of what was an awesome conversation, looking back on an old buddy of mine that I spent many years with, traveling the world at TaylorMade. We go on to talk about other tour player stories, how to get the best out of your fittings, answer some of his listeners' questions. But while you're listening to me, this is just an extract, like I say. Hit the links in the description below. It's going to take you directly to the podcast and you can hear the whole story. Also, do you want to see me get some podcast vibe going on of my own? If you think that is something you want to see, bang it in the comments. Maybe I'll start my own podcast. I keep thinking about it. Perhaps I need to go there. Otherwise, subscribe on this YouTube page. Absolutely love the following. Keep it coming. Questions always welcome. Until next Tour Truck Tuesday. I'm dropping you one, of course, on Tuesday. Stay tuned.